it's me, Daniel. Today I'm reading the Bible. You want to join? Today's passage comes from Exodus chapter 12, the Passover. Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, "This month shall be for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Until all the congregation of Israel, that on the 10th day of this month every man shall take a lamb according to their father's houses, and a lamb for their household. And if the household is too small for a lamb, then he and his nearest neighbor shall take according to the number of persons, according to what each can eat, and make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male a year old, and you may take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you may keep it until the 14th day of this month, when the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill their lambs at twilight. Then they shall take some of the blood and put it on the two doorposts and the lintel of the houses in which they eat, and they shall eat that flesh that night, roasted on the fire, with unleavened bread and their bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat it any with raw or boiled in water, but roasted, its head and its legs and its inner parts. You shall let none of it remain until the morning. Anything that remains until the morning you shall burn. In the manner you shall eat it with your belt fastened, sandals on your feet, and a staff in your hand. For you shall eat it in haste, for this is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will kill all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and all the gods of Egypt. I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. The blood shall be a sign for you, and on the houses of where you are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and no plague will befall to destroy you when I strike the land of Egypt. This day shall be for you a memorial day, and you shall keep it to the feast to the Lord throughout your generations for a statute forever, and you shall keep it as a feast. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. On the first day you shall remove leaven out of your houses, for if anyone eats what is leavened from the first day until the 7th day, that person shall be cut off from Israel. The first day you shall hold a holy assembly, on the 7th day a holy assembly. No work shall be done on those days, but prepare what everybody needs to eat, and that alone will be prepared for you. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread, for this very day I brought you and your hosts out of the land of Egypt. Therefore you shall observe to this day throughout your generations as a statute forever. In the first month, on the 14th day at the evening, you shall eat leavened bread until the 21st day of the month of evening. For 7 days no leaven shall be found in your houses. If anyone eat what is leavened, that person should be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he is a sojourner or a native of the land. You shall eat nothing leavened. In all your dwelling places you shall eat unleavened bread. And Moses called all the elders of Israel and said to them, Go select lambs for yourself according to their clans, and kill the Passover lamb. And take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and touch the lintel on the two doorposts, that is with the blood in the basin. None of you shall go out of the door of his house until the morning. For the Lord shall pass through to strike the Egyptians, whether he sees the blood on the lintel or on the two doorposts, and the Lord will pass over the door, and not allow the destroyer to enter your houses and strike you. You shall observe this rite as a statute for you and your sons forever. And when you come to the land that the Lord will give you, as he has promised, you shall keep the service. And when he said, your children say to you, What do you mean by the servants? You shall say, It's a sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, as he passed over the people of Israel in Egypt, and when he struck the Egyptians but spared our houses, and people bowed down their heads and worshipped. And the people of Israel went and did so as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. So they did. The 10th plague, the death of the firstborn. At midnight the Lord struck down all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh who sat onto his throne, to every captain who was in the dungeon, and to all the firstborn of the livestock. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, and he and servants and all the Egyptians. There was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where someone was not dead. Then he summoned Moses and Aaron by night and said, Up from among my people, both you and the people of Israel, go and serve the Lord as you said. Take your flocks and your herds, as you said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Exodus. The Egyptians were urgent with the people and sent them out in the land of a haste, for they said, We shall all be dead. So the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading bowls were bound up in their cloaks on their shoulders, and the people of Israel had also done so as Moses told them, for they have asked the Egyptians for silver and gold jewelry and for clothing. And the Lord had given the people a favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they had let them what they asked. Thus they plundered the Egyptians. The people of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides women and children. A mixed multitude also went up with them with very much livestock, both flocks and herds, and they baked unleavened cakes in the dough that they had brought out of Egypt, for it was not leavened, for they were thrust out of Egypt and could not wait, nor they had prepared any provisions for themselves. The time that the people of Israel had lived in Egypt was 430 years. At the end of 430 years, on that very day, the hosts of the Lord went out of the land of Egypt. It was a night of watching by the Lord to bring them out of the land of Egypt. So on the same night as a night of watching kept the Lord, but all the people of Israel throughout their generations. The intuition of the Passover. And the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "This is a statute of the Passover. No foreigner shall eat of it, but every slave that's bought for money may eat of it after you circumcise him. No foreigner or hired worker may eat of it. It shall be eaten in one house, and you shall not take any of the flesh outside the house, and you shall not break any of its bones. And all the congregation of Israel shall keep it. If a stranger shall sojourn, then you may keep the Passover to the Lord. Let all the males be circumcised. But he may come near and keep it, and he shall be a native of the land, but no uncircumcised person shall eat of it. There shall be one law for the native, and one law for the stranger who sojourns among you." And all the people of Israel did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. And on that very day, the Lord brought out the people of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their hosts. That was Exodus chapter 12. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe and ring that bell below. Bye.